Hi, Assalamualaikum. Today, me and my group member are going to present on our analysis of the short story, The Gift of the Magi, written by O. Henry. But before we get into our analysis, I, ARIFAH IRDINA BINTI AZIZI, student ID 2407-10003, is going to give you guys a brief introduction into our author and our short story. Our author, O. Henry, or his real name is William Sidney Porter, is an American short story writer known for his clever wordplay, ironic twists, and surprise endings. Before he became a full-time author, he worked in various jobs including as a pharmacist, bank teller, and journalist. He began his writing seriously while serving time in prison for embezzlement, where he adopted the pen name O. Henry. So, brief background of our short story. The Gift of the Magi is one of O. Henry's famous short story, and this story is a tale that shared a story of a pair young couple, which is Della and Jim, who sacrificed their most prized possession to buy Christmas gift for each other. So let us get into the analysis, which is first the plot. We use free text triangle to describe the plot. Okay, let's first get into the exposition, which first is introduces setting, which is a modest flat on Christmas Eve, and also its characters, which is Della and Jim, a young married couple, poor but deeply in love, and introduced into the situation, which is that Della has only $1.87 to buy Jim a Christmas present. And then let us get into the rising action, which Della decides to sacrifice her most prized possession, which is her long hair, by selling it for $20. From the example that Della asks Madame Sofroni if she will buy her hair for $20. And then another rising action is she search all over the town to find a perfect gift for Jim, which is a platinum chain for Jim's heirloom pocket watch. Excerpt from the short story is she found it at last. It was a platinum fob chain, simple and chaste in design. It was like him, quietness and value. The description applied to both. Next, we have climax, which is the turning point or the most emotional highest moment, where Della gives Jim the chain and discovers that he has sold his watch to buy her a set of expensive comb for her hair. It can be seen in the short story is Jim tumbled down on the couch. Dell said I sold the watch to get the money to buy your comb. Okay, next we get to the falling action, where the consequences unfold, the characters respond. Where they both realize their gifts are now ironically useless, yet this mutual sacrifice shows the depth of their love. The excerpt of the short story, which this can be proof, is like she held it out to him eagerly upon her open palm. Isn't it a dandy, Jim? I hunted all over town to find it. Instead of obeying, Jim tumbled down on the couch. Let's put our Christmas presents away and keep them a while. They're too nice to use just at present. And lastly, we have resolution or denouement, where the narrator compares them to the Magi, wise gift givers, emphasizing that their love and selflessness make them the wisest of all. And the excerpt from the short story is, of all who give and receive gifts, such as they are wisest, everywhere they are wisest, they are the Magi. Now I'm going to pass this to our next member.
So we're moving on to the conflicts. And there are two conflicts, which is internal and external. Okay, so what are internal conflict? So the internal conflict is the character versus herself, which is Della versus herself. She battles herself emotionally over selling her most prized possession, her hair. She actually thought about it a few times before she made the quiet decision to actually sell her hair. Okay, and then the second one is external conflict. What are the external conflict? And then there are character versus society, which is minor conflict, poverty, and financial struggles. Okay, what about the external conflict? So the external conflict is about the character versus the society, basically financial struggle and poverty. So Della and Jim, they are actually facing a very hard financial struggle, and we can see by how along the text, Della had to make a lot of sacrifices just to buy Jim's a present, and then Jim also had to make his own sacrifice to buy Della a present. And then it shows that they do not have enough money to by the present without sacrificing anything else.
Hi everyone, my name is MUHAQZIN bin SOBARI. Today I'll be talking about the setting for our group short story, which is The Gift of the Magi, which is time, place, and the social setting. The story is set on Christmas Eve in the early 90s, which is had a lot of emotional meaning. In the short story, you can also find phrases like, "The next day will be Christmas, and it's Christmas Eve. Be good to me, for it went for you." What does this actually mean? So, other than indicating it's Christmas, when you think of Christmas, you think of people giving gifts, show love, and think about others, and that is exactly what the story is about. Giving from the heart even when you have very little. And because of the holiday setting, it builds up tension in the story and also add pressure to our main character, which is the pressure to give, making Della feel that she must give something meaningful, even if it means sacrificing her most prized possession. Okay, then we moving on to the second bubble map, which is the place. It clearly stated that they live in a modest rented flat in a city, likely New York City, and there are phrases like a furnished flat at $8 per week, and in the vestibule below was a letterbox which no letter would go, and an electric button from which no mortal finger could coax a ring. From the choice of word itself, you can see how poor the couple is, like a broken doorbell, a mailbox that doesn't work, and a thin mirror that barely shows your reflection. And then finally, we have the social setting. So after reading the story, I think like the story reflects a time when money was tight, especially for working class couple. Jim earns only $20 a week, and Della has to save for months just to collect $1.87. It shows a world where people had to make do with very little, but also showed the values of that time: love, sacrifice, and giving. So overall, I think the setting, which is time, place, and the social environment, all work together to highlight the story's main message, that true love means sacrificing for someone else, even if you don't have much. Okay, that's it from me. Moving on to the next person. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad AQIL bin AZMAN. ID number BGA 2407100034. And today I'm going to talk about the theme of the gift of Magi. Okay, the first theme that the life of Magi portray is love and sacrifice. Jim and Della each sacrifice their most prized possession to buy gift for the others, demonstrating that love involves selfishness and personal sacrifice. And I quote, "Of all who give and receive gifts, such as they are wisest, they are the Magi." This line underscores that their mutual sacrifice are the truest expression of love. The next theme is value beyond materialism. The story contrasts material wealth with emotional richness, suggesting that true value lies in the love and the generosity, not in possession. And I quote from the story, $8 a week or $1 million a year. What is the difference? A mathematician or a will who give you the wrong answer. These quotes emphasize that emotional wealth surpasses the material wealth. Alright. Next is poverty and dignity. The couple's financial struggles are evident, yet they maintain dignity and affection, showing that love thrives even in hardship. And I quote, "Expenses had been greater than she had calculated. They always are." This line reflects that the constant financial challenges that the couple have. Okay, the last one is inner beauty and true worth. The story suggests that the inner qualities and intention hold more value than outward appearance or material possessions. And I quote, "She had been saving every penny she could for months. With this result, $20. Della's sacrifice highlights the depth of love, value, emotional connection over physical appearance. I think that's all.
Hi everyone, I would like to share to you about the characters that are mentioned in the story The Gift of Magi, and there are 3 characters that was mentioned. The first one is Della or Della Dillingham, the second one is Jim or James Dillingham, and the third one is Madame Sofroni, the supporting characters. So let's get into it. So first up, we have Della. Della or Della Dillingham is the main protagonist from the book The Gift of the Magi. And who is she? She is a young, affectionate, soft-lived woman who is deeply in love with her husband Jim. And her actions in the story revolve around her desire to express this love by sacrificing something even at her personal cost. Okay, so what is her character type? There are 3 character types that we are going to explore. First up, she is the protagonist of the book. Okay, she is the central character whose actions will drive the narrative. And she is also a dynamic character. Why is she a dynamic character? Because she undergoes a very emotional transformation, realizing the profound depth of love and sacrifice. And what did she do? She cut her own hair and sell it because she wanted the money to buy gifts for her husband for Christmas. Okay, and the third one is the round character. Della is portrayed with a lot of complexity and exhibiting a range of emotions and also motivations. Della posed 2 characteristics in her, which is self-sacrificing, which is another word for selfless, and also loving and doted. So what did she do to have the self-sacrificing value is because she had to sell her hair for $20. She went to Madame Sofroni and then cut her hair and sold it to her for $20, and after that she used the money to buy gifts for Jim. And then the second one is loving and devoted. Della noticed how Jim's pocket watch, especially a watch that was given by her grandfathers, didn't have any string attached to it. So what she did is she scatters around the city to find a perfect chain to match the watch. Moving on is the husband, which is Jim, or known as James Dillingham Young. So Jim or James Dillingham Young is a very affectionate and very quiet and gentle character. He is the husband of Della and also very thoughtful and value her possession. So what is his character type? And he also posts 3 character types. So what is Jim's character type? Jim is also a protagonist because he shares the central role with Della, and his actions are very pivotal for the plot. Second one, he is also a dynamic character because he experiences a realization of the true meaning for love and sacrifice. And then the third one, Jim is also a round character because he is depicted with death, showing both affection and sacrifice. Okay, so what did Jim do for Della? He actually sold his watch to buy Della a perfect comb because he knew that Della values her hair very much. Okay, what are Jim's characteristics? So there are 2 characteristics that we put on Jim, which is hardworking and also calm and understanding. Why is Jim hardworking? So we knew that Jim is a very diligent worker because he wanted to support his household even though it's with a modest income. And then the next one is calm and understanding is when he knew that Della had cut her hair and sold her hair just to buy him a gift, he remained composed and focusing on their love rather than the loss. He felt grateful even though Della lost her hair and then he already sold his watch. And the last part for the character that I'm going to introduce you is Madame Sofroni. So, who is Madame Sofroni? Madame Sofroni is the owner of hair salon and she is the one who actually cut Della's hair and bought it. Okay, she is the one who cut it and then told Della that she will buy it for $20. Okay, what is her character type? So what are Madame Sofroni's character type? So, Madame Sofroni is a supporting character. Even though her appearance is very brief, she represents a very important part of the plot to move on with Della's story, which is she cut her hair to prove that Della is sacrificing her valuable thing and then making her an important catalyst to the story. She is also a very flat character because she is just a very minor character with limited to no development. And the third one, she is also the static character because Madame Sofronie does not undergo any emotional or significant change throughout the whole story. So we only have one characteristic that was labeled on Madame Sofronie, which is practical and unemotional.
Okay, hello, Assalamualaikum, and my name is Muhammad ARFAN bin ZAIDI, and number is BGA 2407-10028. So today I'm going to talk about the tone and style of the short story called The Gift of Magi. So the first tone in the story that you can see is sentimental and affectionate. It's because two of these tone reflect the deep love and selflessness of the main character between Della and Jim O'Henry. Della and Jim O'Henry employs warm and pleasant language to emphasize their emotional bond, even amidst financial hardship. One of the quote that I can take from the short story is, "Of all who give and receive gift, such as they are wisest, they are the Magi." The second one is the tone of the gift of Magi. The second tone is chatty, informal, and light-hearted. Because of this chattiness, it pulls the reader into the young, simple, ordinary life and sets up the surprise of the concluding moral, which present the unremarkable young as heroically wise. There are two quotes that I can take from the short story. The first one is, which instigates the moral reflection that life is made up of sobs, sniffles, and smiles, with sniffle predominating. The other one, for the 10 second, let us regard with discreet scrutiny some consequential object in the other direction. So that's all from me. Thank you. And moving on to the next person.
Hello and Assalamualaikum everyone. My name is NORAZRIEL bin NORAZAM and my ID number is BGA 2407-119, and I'm gonna talk about the point of view and literary devices that being contained in the short story The Gift of Magi. Okay, let's dive into the point of view first. The point of view is third person limited omniscient, and it is third person because the narrator clearly used he, she, and they instead of I and we. And it is limited omniscient because the narrator closely followed Della's perspective, revealing her thought, feelings, and reaction, but not Jim's inner thoughts. The story shows that what Jim does and how he reacts, but it doesn't delve into his mind directly. So in simpler words, the narrator only say what Jim does explicitly, and it can be supported by this example. The first one is, Della finished her cry and attended to her cheeks with the powder rag. And the next one is, if Jim doesn't kill me, she said to herself before he takes a second look at me. And this line showing Della's internal emotion and thoughts, not Jim's. The next one is literary devices. We have found three literary devices. The first one is irony, allusion, and symbolism. Okay, the first one is irony, and it is a situational irony. This is when both Della and Jim buy gifts that become useless due to their mutual sacrifices. The irony emphasizes the depth of their love and makes the ending powerful and memorable. The example are, I sold the watch to get the money to buy your combs, said James. And Della said, I sold my hair to buy you a chain for your watch, said Della. And the next literary devices is allusion. It is a biblical allusion connects Jim and Della's action to the story of three wise men, suggesting their selflessness makes them truly wise. And as an example, the Magi, as you know, were wise men. They invented the art of giving Christmas presents. And the next one is, of all who give and receive gifts, such as they are wisest, they are the Magi. And the last literary devices is the object, which is Della's hair and Jim's watch, symbolize what each other character treasure most, yet they are willing to give them up for love, reinforcing the theme of selfless giving. And as example, Della's hair symbolic to her beauty and sacrifice, and Jim's watch symbolic heritage and pride. And the gift combs, which is the combs and the chain, symbolic to love and not material value. That's all from us, and I would like to say that we had fun doing this analyzing and reading this book, and we would like to recommend this book for others. Thank you.